So this problem, I was going through one prep and this problem really stood out to me as an interesting one because it's supposedly a really hard problem. It's a level 6 on the score band. It only goes up to level 7 on this website. And I think you could do it without even reading any of the bullet points. So let's focus on the question because I think there's a lot you could get out of just reading the question carefully. The student wants to introduce Catherine Halverson's book to an audience already familiar with the Atlantic Monthly. So there's two things that we need to do here in the answer. We have to introduce some book that's not the Atlantic Monthly, it's some other book, and we have to reference the Atlantic Monthly without explaining it, as if they don't know what it is. So we're going to look through the choices, and I'll start at the top. Catherine Halverson's Faraway Woman, okay, check one, we reference the book. And the Atlantic Monthly, good, we reference that. Discuss female authors whose autobiographies appeared in the magazine in the early 1900s, good. So we didn't explain anything about the Atlantic Monthly, what it is, because we're assuming that they already know what it is. So A looks good to me. Let's just read the other choices and make sure we could reject them. B, a magazine called the Atlantic Monthly, referred to in Catherine Halverson's book title, was first published in 1850s. This one's terrible because it doesn't mention the book. It mentions the Atlantic Monthly, but then explains a bunch of stuff about it. So B is definitely wrong. C says Faraway Women and the Atlantic Monthly features contributors to the Atlantic Monthly, first published in 1857. Yeah, we don't want to give information about Atlantic Monthly because our audience is already familiar with it. And D says an author discussed by Catherine Halverson in some other person, okay, whose autobiography appeared in the Atlantic Monthly in the early 1900s. This one doesn't mention any book. So we're trying to introduce her book, but D doesn't even mention it. So it has to be A.